Hello ladies, this is Caro from Lacey's Creation. I hope you're all well today and doing fine and lots of crafting. Well, am I excited to bring this journal to you. It's the Edwardian Lady, as I've promised you. I've left the cover exactly in its entirety because it's just such a beautiful cover. And all I've done is put this little sari silk wrap around here. So let's get straight into it. I have had a few pictures up on Instagram, so you've got an idea of what's going on if you're on follow me on Instagram. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. All I've done is put these little corners, metal corners on. That's all I've done. Okay, so in the first page, the back pages and front pages are so nice. So I've just fussy cut the dogwood rose out. Now this Edith Holden is not just a botanical, it's an Edith Holden with a difference. So if you've got this book, The Edwardian Lady, you know this book is about her life. And so that's what I've tried to bring into this, a little bit of her life. And there's just the introduction out of the book, and it tells you about her life and what she did. If anyone loves Edith Holden as much as I do, and you've read the book, you'll know that there was so much to her than just the botanical gardens, the botanical drawings, sorry. So the main thing about her and her family were that they were middle class. They weren't aristocrats, but they did so much for the poor. And this front page is just a little picture of the poor boys that they helped. I've put in the references there so you can read for yourself. And then I've used some Tim Holtz dolls in there just to bring that picture out. And this is was the front page, and so I've just added another Tim Holtz lady there sitting on a log. There's a postcard. So one of the things Edith did was she wrote a lot of letters. I think everyone did in those days, because my husband and I watch a lot of period movies, and that's how they messaged each other. They wrote letters and sent them. And these are just some old stamps in an old glassine bag, envelope. And so that's what they did. But throughout her book, there's a lot of references to her writing to her friends. That's a nice picture of her sitting at her easel. I've just done a little corner embellishment there and a little bit of fabric. And these are a couple of British tea cards, which I've popped in there. And then I've fussy cut the water lily, done a little bit of embellishment on the corner, put the 1906 there and just a little ticket. I haven't used many digitals or other people's things in here. I've used the tea cards a few times, and Tracy Fox's labels. You just can't go buy any journal without adding a Tracy Fox label these days. And then I've that's just a nice big journaling card all backed, and the Tim Holtz dolls, and that's really the only two mentions I'm going to put in. So the only thing wrong that I can see with Tracy Fox's labels is that I have to stop myself from using them on every page. You do a page, you do a collage, and you think, oh, it's just not right, it hasn't got a label. And then you think, oh no, I've got, So this is just a little brown paper bag here. I've done it so that it flips open. You won't see that on camera, but I've just put some pianola paper there. That's one of the her postcards and letters to her friend, Mrs. Baker. And then in here, I've just added some little scrap paper and little bits and pieces. So what I've tried to do is add a few things that the person that gets this can do some collaging themselves, or, add some bits on. Gosh, and there's my daughter's big Great Dane barking in the background. They're here for a holiday. So yeah, I've done a fair bit of fussy cutting in this. It's taken me quite a few hours, and I've grunged up all the pages. And so this is an altered book. It's not a sewn-in journal. It's an altered book. I forgot to say that at the beginning. And I've reinforced every seam with pianola paper. Now, I tried a few things. My original thought was to use fabric, but it just got too thick and they didn't open properly. So I like this pianola paper because it's done the job of reinforcing, but it's kept it nice and thin. This is a pocket here, just with one of the little poems out of the book. And its original page. I have used a few different books in here, so you'll notice some different pictures. I've used the Nature Notes, and I've used the Country Craft, and I've used this original book. This is a original piece of ephemera. It's off a 1936 calendar that I had, garden calendar. So I just popped that in there for a point of interest. And also I've used, well, I'll point it out when I get to it, but I have used a modern version, and so the pages are a bit lighter. So there's the beautiful foxglove, and that's on old wallpaper. I put it on this side because I wanted to see the embossing, and then it flips out, and I've done a little stencil there, a couple more journal cards there, just with coffee stain paper on the back. Oh, I've done all the journal cards similar, except this green one. So this is a very old file folder, and I've just left that in its original form so you can write on that. This is a gorgeous picture of Edith's mother, Evelyn. I think she was 3 or 4 there in that picture. Close that up. And then this is my favourite page, the red toadstools. Aren't they just beautiful? I love them. So on this page, I've done a altered envelope here, and I've had this little boy with butterfly wings in there. I've just put a first day cover in there of British painters, and it's quite a tight fit. I've tried to keep everything as slimline as possible, and just a little ticket in there. And then in here, what did I put in here? Oh, some old magazine pages. So just more things for the person that receives this to do a bit of collaging with. So that's a piece of old, that's an 1800 book, this old German book. And then this 1935 gardening book. So that's quite old as well. So that's there. And then on this side, bring it over. On this side I've just done another, this is one of my paper clips, which I love making those. And then on this side I've just done another scrappy little pad. And it's on that very ancient photo album paper. It's very brittle. But once again, it doesn't have to be kept like that. It can be torn up and used for collaging. I won't pop that all back because it'll take time. So now we're starting to see a change. This is, well, that page is an original page, but this is now showing some of Edith's work in little books that she did. She wrote some beautiful little animal children's books, and that was the hare, and that was the long-tailed mouse, I think that one was called. That's just a playing card that I've popped in there, and another journaling card, just with the green back. And then here, these are gorgeous. These are 3 little pictures that she's done. 3 of Edith's illustrations for the Woodland Whisperings, a collection of poetry for children published in 1911. So she did a lot of children's, well, a few in her short life. She did a few children's books and poetry books. But weren't the pictures just beautiful? She was so clever. I just love Edith Holden's work. I just love it. And then the other thing, besides writing letters to her friends, she also painted them a lot of pictures. And this one I think was an oil painting. That's an oil painting of her horse. And then that one was a watercolour of sheep painted by Edith, probably between 1904 and 1910, and given to the Trenthams. So she has a friend called Bella, and she has the Trenthams, and she has another one, Berta, I think her name was. Oh, and in here I put another first aid cover, just because I like the colour of it. This is a 1980 Sydney Post Office in 1850, and I just popped it in there for a bit of interest. And then over the page we have another one of the pages. So a lot of the pages, you'll notice I've just left them whole because they were just so pretty and I didn't want to do anything to them. And then this journaling card, I think this picture came out of the Nature Notes. So a lot of the pictures you'll be familiar with, and there's a few that you might not be so familiar with. They've come out of different, and I did a little, what did I do on there? A little flip on there. Yes, it says it was in the Nature Notes for the July page. So that's just a little bit of extra journaling space. And this is her mother, Evelyn. And she was painting in her teens. So her mother and her father, and I think her sister, they were all artists. Very clever family. But I did read somewhere else as well that it wasn't out of the norm that, you know, most young girls did some form of art. So this is a lovely old pianola paper, the start of it, or the end of it, that I've just made this little pocket, and I just popped a little piece of ephemera in there. So that doesn't belong. There's only, like I said, there's only a couple, apart from the original ephemera, there's only a couple of things that don't belong. That's just a wild geranium that I've fussy cut, and I think I got that out of the craft book. This is just another piece of paper tied up with this little piece of silk ribbon, and inside is another tag that just sits in there, or you can move it around if you want to, with a New Zealand stamp on it. I just had that, it's in this little lace pocket, and there's the little Ford near her house, and she talks about that a lot in the Nature Notes as well. So this book would be really for somebody that's interested in Edith's life, not just her botanical drawings. One of her beautiful Christmas cards, you know, she drew pictures and gave Christmas cards to all her friends. That's the violet page, just been fussy cut there, and the original book page. And then in here is another oil painting that she did. Yes, she did this oil painting of the bridge at Dartmoor in the summer of 1908, and she'd visited the place with the Trentham girls, and it was a favourite spot of Bella's. Edith gave her the painting as a wedding present. And once again, I've just attached some loose pages there, some old ledger. The book is quite stiff because the pages that are glued together, so I just wanted to put some floppy things in, I guess, just to soften it up. That piece of music is from the 1800s. It's very brittle. I had a heck of a time trying to glue that down. And this page is the oil painting she did of the Trentham's dog. And I've just collaged these little pictures over top. These are her pictures. These are out of the Country Craft book, or they might be out of the Nature Notes. And then the other thing, so they helped the poor and their workers and people that lived in their little hamlet, but she also did a lot of work for the animal welfare. And this was a picture that she'd painted. Oh, this was a postcard that she produced in 1907 for the Royal Society of the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals. So, you know, she did so much in such a short life. And then that August page is the original page that was in the book, so I haven't taken that out. And there's another one of her greeting cards. I just made this little pocket here out of a ticket and a bit of collaging. And then once again, these are 3 little pictures. I don't think I put the reference on those, but they were 3 little pictures out of one of her children's books. Aren't they just beautiful? Just beautiful. And then that's the original Dogwood page, which, as I say, was in it's actually in this book, and I've just reinforced where I took the pages out with the pianola hinges, and just put this little thin lace on the side. I didn't want to make it too lacy, and I really did. I was trying my hardest not to get it as a crocodile mouth, but it was really hard because there's so much to go in. That's a little picture that was off the back of the cover. And then I've just used that cover corner snippet there just to highlight the greens in the page. That's the swallow page. And then I've fussy cut these swallows out of the other book and glued them on top. So it just gives it a little bit of a lift there. And these are tags. These are actually the book page, and I've just cut them into the tag shape. All reinforced with washi tape through there and the pianola. And then on the other side, I've left that one, I've just covered with coffee dyed paper for journaling, and then this one's got the song thrushes in there, and then I took that one out of the country craft book, knitting book, backed it. So that just pops in there, a bit of collaging with some paper doily. And then on this side, just to match it up, I've done that fabric pot. This fabric actually is very old fabric, very old and vintage fabric. And you can see where I've grunged up the page just with the nice little brush that I have. And then that's a tag. This is quite a stiff tag, this one. And then another little bit of jotting paper in there. But there's quite a bit of journaling space, and those are the ducks, and there was a picture of cats under there, but I covered them up. A little ticket there and some more New Zealand stamps. And this, oh, I love this page. So this is, I've got this lovely old 1935 garden magazine, and I wanted to incorporate it in there somehow. So I've used this in the price 7 and 6 there. And then this was just a little insert of a story out of it. It's a little Scottish story. It's their way of writing was quite different, and it's, you know, just nice to read. Now, those of you that are around my age will remember the story of the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. But did you know that she was the original illustrator? I never knew that. I'd never heard of Edith Holden until I started doing junk journaling 3 years ago. But yeah, so she was the original illustrator. I thought that's really nice to know. So I covered that one up just because I like this in there, but this I left uncovered. And this is just another journaling card, and it's a little laneway that her and her family used to walk down, and she mentions this quite frequently in the Nature Notes book. So I've just made that as a journaling card, and that's on some handmade paper. Goes into that big pocket there. You can, you know, this book can be really filled up. You could fill all these pockets up with letters and notes and whatever you wanted to. I just have tried to limit it because I, like I said, I didn't want it to get too wide. So this is one of the stories, Animals Around Us, with the illustrations by Edith Holden. And this is another one of her little handwritten cards to her friend Berta. So I've just backed that onto some old photograph book page and put the little antique corners on. And they are very antique, those corners. Little lace pocket there. And then on this page, it highlights the 2 children's books, The Hare and the Long-Tailed Mouse, and the little sketchings that she did. And that's, I've done that on that old, and I've really roughed that up and made it look really old. But the thing is, this paper is so old that it was very easy to do. You know, it's really easy to get this distressed look when the paper's really old and brittle. But I thought they were quite cute, those two little illustrations. And I've just put a bit of lace there to lighten it up a little bit. Left that completely as it is, untouched by human hands, except for the pianola paper. But I thought this paper is lovely to write on. I've written on a few of the scraps and it is really nice to write on. So I thought all of this can be journaling space. And even up in here. And the Scotch thistles are just beautiful. Love them. She did spend some time in Scotland, so I'm not sure if she drew those when she was in Scotland. That August page, that was in Scotland. And then over here, I've got a little bit of a eclectic thing going on here. Now, nowhere in her book could I find that she mentioned fairies, but she did mention elves. So can you have elves without fairies? I don't think so. So I did add a little fairy there just because the colour went nice. Picked up the yellow from the polyanthas on that side of the page. And I just thought it was cute. And then in there's just another little piece of note paper. And there's an original check there. It's probably got nothing to do with Edith Holden, but it's old and the colours went well. I did a bit of stenciling on that book page, and so I just popped that check in there as well. It will slide down in there. I'll put it in after. It does slide in there though. And then that's another little scrappy piece of paper and another stamp. Now these stamps, these glassine bags are original glassine bags from my stamp collection, and some of the stamps that have got like 1935 stamps in them, the bags and the little acetate bags that some of the stamps are sorted into, they're very yellow. The patina on them really shows you that they really are old. So I just pop one of those in there so that the person that gets this book can enjoy that. And this is a CD altered envelope. It won't be in focus, but I have decorated that back page and you can pop some notes into there. And then on the other side of that, I've glued that side down. Now this is the sad page. Look, I have looked through lots of YouTube and I haven't seen anyone mention or talk about her death, but I just thought, because this book was about her life, I sort of wanted to leave in the death certificate. Does that sound a bit gruesome? But I just thought, you know, it's a really interesting fact about her life. It's really sad that she died doing what she loves. So that was a picture of her. They think that was taken around her, about the time of her marriage. And I think she was about 30 when she got married. And she wasn't much older when she died. I'm not sure if it tells you there how old she was, but she couldn't have been married for very long because I don't think she was much out of 30. And that's a little newspaper excerpt that tells her. So she was drawing chestnuts and she reached up into the tree to pick a chestnut or something to draw. And she, I don't know whether the branch broke or she tripped or what, but she must have fallen and she drowned in the river where the chestnut tree was hanging over. And that's her father there. Which is a very sad end, you know, for someone that was so clever. And that's just a little excerpt of their family tree. Her mother and her father and the children. So I just pop that in there. And that was her father. But, oh gosh, you know, to pass away so young was so sad. And it probably, I don't know, you might not like it being in the book, but it is who she was. And this book is her life. So, and that came out of the the country craft book that I have. So you will notice there, and so did that, and I've fussy cut both of those. You'll notice there's a few different pictures here, so I haven't, you know, got them illegally from anywhere. I've just got them from other books. Now, this is not her work, but I did include this little bit of embroidery because that was another thing she did. She drew patterns for embroidery, and there's another little envelope with New Zealand stamps, and these are all little botanical ones. Just a scrappy piece of paper and another little seed packet with a mushroom stamp on the back of it. Yeah, so she did that as well. I don't know if she actually did embroidery, but she certainly designed patterns for it. Oh, and that was a, I'll pull it out. That was just a little flip, that one. It's not a paper clip, it's just a little flip. So you've got a nice journaling spot there. And that was the back side of it. And then it came over onto this page, and once again, lots of journaling space there. Especially if you write small. So I hope the person that gets this will like this grungy look. This book is reserved at the moment, but if it doesn't sell, you know, if the lady decides she doesn't like it after seeing the flip through, then I will put it on Instagram, and I'll put it on my Facebook page. And these last page, I've done absolutely nothing to. I haven't grunged it. I haven't done anything because I thought, well, I've added all these pieces. The person that gets it can make some pockets if they want to. They can add bits to it. If they want to grunge that up, they can. But I just thought it'd be nice just to leave that as it was so that you can see. And I've just reinforced this last page with this bit of washi. And that was the original end in the book, in another book. So, and I took it out and just put it in there on a little piece of fabric. And that's one of her little mouse. So it must be the long-tailed mouse that she wrote the story about. And so that's all there is. And then that's the back cover, just with the metal corners on. And I was going to put some lace here, and then I don't know, I just didn't want to spoil it, so I didn't. And that's what it looks like from the inside, from the sides, I mean. And that's all there is. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the story of Edith's life rather than just her botanical pictures. I have done a few things now with her botanical pictures, and I love them, and I've still got a few more books, so I'm sure I'll be doing more in the future. But this particular one was just focusing on her life. Okay, well, that's all there is. I hope you all enjoyed looking at that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.